I think that in many cases, the challenge is that search is a great tactic when your audience is looking exactly for what you sell. And that is not always true, not for every business, certainly. And even for many businesses where it is true, the buyer behavior has started earlier. I am obviously, very passionate about search. I started this company, Moz, many years ago with my mom, was there for 17 years, was the CEO for a long time, and then left and started this new company, SparkToro. And I think that in many cases, the challenge is that search is a great tactic when your audience is looking exactly for what you sell. And that is not always true, not for every business, certainly. And even for many businesses where it is true, the buyer behavior has started earlier. So let's talk through those. I'm guessing that if you are in digital marketing, web marketing, you've probably seen a lot of stories like these, right? Here's how Airbnb created, this incredible SEO moat that seems invincible. You can, in the slides, I'll link to all of these and all the references going forward so that you've got them. Here's, Rank Science talking about Pinterest's SEO, which of course, if you've done any image search SEO, you know that Pinterest is just dominant across the board. Here's how Canva, right, this multi-billion-dollar unicorn company now, has built an incredible SEO and content play with their content marketing and search engine optimization practices. Here's, these great SEO case studies. And I don't have any problem with these stories. I think they're fine. I think they're interesting to examine. I think there is value in learning from other people's examples and seeing what some of these great companies are doing. I just think they're incomplete. I think that we're not getting the full picture. And one of the things that's true is that it's extremely hard in 2021 to build competitive advantage exclusively from Facebook and Google, sort of the marketing duopoly of the web. And that is because of how these platforms work. So I'll try and illustrate a little bit. I like to get visual when I think through concepts and problems and why it's so hard, especially for an early stage company, a startup, a challenger brand, right? A scale up to compete with the big folks on these platforms in particular. So let's talk about Facebook and Google's ad slope, right? Essentially what we have here is, every incremental ad impression and customer conversion is costing you dollars or euros, right? So you are, essentially trying to get conversions by buying ads, and each ad that you buy costs money, right? So as you improve your ad ROI by, improving your copy, improving your targeting, getting your ad scores better on these platforms, right? The programmatic platforms, that's counteracted because more of your competitors are, of course, always doing the same thing. The prices are almost always rising. Ad costs fell very briefly at the start of the pandemic last year, but have been going up pretty considerably since. And when Facebook and Google need to show Wall Street more growth, you're going to pay more, right? This is kind of just boulder pushing. So, every step of progress that you make requires the same amount of effort. You don't gain efficiency over time. And if competition comes in, external forces reduce your ROI, every step gets progressively harder. That slope can increase rather than decrease. You're making an investment that in the future might be harder than it is today. I don't think that's great, right? You could, of course, do organic Facebook. Oh, well, forget about the ads. Let's do some organic. Bad news, friends. Facebook average engagement rate across pages. This is data from Rival IQ, who puts out a report every year, and the 2021 one came out, I think, in February. Very good looking back at 2020. And it's just, impossible, right? I mean, 0.09%. We were complaining when it fell to 2 or 3% years ago. If you have 1,000 Facebook fans or likes on your page, when you post, you might get engagement from one person. That is awful. SEO and content, right, can work, absolutely, right? But if you don't have an established brand or site authority, ranking is brutally hard. I'll tell you quite honestly, look, I'm pretty good at SEO. Obviously, I have a ton of years of experience. I'm sort of well known in that field, can get lots of links, can produce content that earns them, all that type of stuff. But SparkToro ranks for almost nothing because there are so many thousands, tens of thousands of digital marketing players, websites in the field that are already ranking and already doing all those SEO things, right? And have been for 10 years, 20 years. So it's hard. Now, granted, as brand and authority grow, SEO gets easier. Maybe, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, SparkToro will start to get up this slope, right? And then that curve will get less steep. And once people, prefer clicking on you in search results and links are pouring in and, your content efforts are singing, yes, that content can rank with relatively little effort. The problem is most of those inspiring sort of SEO case studies, they happen over here. They happen when people already know and like and trust Canva, know and like and trust Airbnb, know and like and trust Pinterest. They've heard of those brands. They're very big players. So yes, it looks like they've built up a ton of SEO and content success, but in reality, what happened was they built up a ton of brand authority, trust, customer preference, and then they invested in SEO and content, and they looked like geniuses for doing it. Airbnb is my favorite example of this because Airbnb, until about 5 years ago, did no SEO whatsoever. They didn't rank for anything, nothing related to vacation rentals or home rentals or, houses for short-term rent or whatever it was. None of that. They didn't even try to compete with VRBO or Expedia or any of these places. No, nothing. But if you look at the traffic numbers in something like Google Trends, you will see that Airbnb had more searches for their brand name than all the searches for vacation rental keywords combined. That's how you win, right? That's how you win. First, you dominate the landscape with your product and your brand and your company, and then SEO can come in, right? The tactics that worked for Canva, that worked for Airbnb, that worked for Pinterest, for Stripe, for all those case studies that you read about, they aren't much use to the 95% of us who are stuck over here, right? Without an established brand. That's just the way it goes. And even if you are doing well, one of the other big challenges in SEO is that Google is taking a ton of the opportunity in search for themselves. And no surprise, right? They need growth. They have to show their stockholders, their shareholders, additional growth. But you know what? This is really tough. This is research. This chart here comes from research that I did with SimilarWeb earlier this year. Published it in, I think, February or March. And it essentially looks at hundreds of millions, I think actually billions of searches from 100 million plus devices that SimilarWeb has data about all around the world, and looks at what percent of people click on a result after they do a Google search versus don't click a result versus click on a paid result. And you can see, globally, we're talking about 2/3 of searches, 65%, nearly 2/3 of searches answered by Google without a click. No one clicks on anything. And this percent has been rapidly increasing. When I did this study with JumpShot 2 years ago, it was 50%. So this is problematic. Now, granted, Google is growing the number of searches that they receive each day and the number of searches that we all perform each month. So there's actually still about the same, maybe a little bit more traffic available going to organic websites than there was, say, 5 years ago. But that curve is gonna hit an inflection point very soon. And we are gonna see a loss of search traffic, total search traffic available to the web in the very near future if Google continues this pattern, which it certainly looks like they are.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you truly enjoyed it. I'm Alessio Pieroni and I'm the founder of Scale for Impact and obviously of Scale with Alessio. In this channel you can find some of the most amazing marketing content, the content that will help your online education business to go to the next level. And if you want to see other videos like this one, please subscribe to this channel. It means really the world for us. And please also comment below and tell us how you found this video. It's truly important. If on the other side you want to go to the next level and you actually want to make sure that you can watch the entire talks from the Scale series, you want to see over 50 speakers, people that have been changing the entire marketing landscape, and see exactly how these can take your business to the next level, please subscribe to the Scale series. For just $99, you're gonna get the chance to see some of the most amazing speakers, and on top of that, get a lot of other bonuses. You're gonna have 3 amazing books completely for free inside that, tens of hours of other marketing training, all of it for just $99. Literally, that's just $2 per talk. And we're not talking about random speakers. We're talking about people like Jay Abram, people like Alex Cattoni, Vishen Lakhiani, Jeff Walker, Perry Marshall, Rich Sheffrin, Molly Pittman, Mary Smith, incredible people that changed the entire marketing landscape right now at your fingertip for just $2 each. So don't wait anymore, it's time for you to get the Scale series. See you there and upgrade your marketing knowledge.